Everyone, I'm Jude the goddess astrologer and alchemical initiatrix. We're going to get into the chart for today. I hope you're doing amazing. And we have this Mars ingress into Gemini this week. So we have 7 months of that coming up. Lots of ideas, lots of mini ideas, lots of scattered energy, and also a lot of fun. It can be lots of conversations, lots of wanting to share ideas, understand things through conversing. But the lead up to that is the sun in Leo, the moon. What day is it? Let me just make sure I'm on the right fucking day. Um, and the moon is like finishing up in Aries, so it has talked to Jupiter and gotten that information about what we're sifting through and our beliefs and our understandings and our higher knowledge coming in from everything we've went through, that we're really retrieving all of our experiences. And so therefore that wisdom that we're taking forward with us, and having taken away the sheaf, leaving that behind, we have all of these goddess asteroids. We have all of these goddesses retrograde: Diana, Juno, Vesta. Vesta is the inner hearth. Juno is how we relate to relationships, and goddess Diana is this competitive woman, like healthy competition, and it's Artemis. It's the sisterhood and the fighting for women, and not letting women being taken and captured by men, and this kind of thing, and by the malignant masculine. There's a divine masculine, malignant masculine. There's the wounded feminine and the divine feminine, and everything in between there. Eris, the goddess of really disrupting the status quo for equality, and doesn't stand for inequality or the elitism. And so all of these goddesses are retrograde. So it's like this deep internal understanding of what has come these last few years. And with Jupiter retrograde, Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and we are very much in this, all the outer planets. So it's everything to do with our higher purpose, our calling, with our power, and with our dynamics in relationship to society and the world and the future. And with all of that happening, we have this creative action. Mars here, with the moon in Aries, Mars is in Taurus. It's like taking this intuitive action that is creative. And with the sun being in Leo and Venus in Leo, and conjunct, Ceres, about your fertility of your ideas, and your fertility of your inner world, your imagination, like what your love can create and build, and acting upon that. And with all this Mars and Taurus, it's influenced by this destiny point, humanity growing towards not so much the psychodramas anymore in the culture, where everyone is very stimulated by psychodramas, stimulated by dysfunction, stimulated by abuses and atrocities and death, and what's going on, because people are living such mundane, boring lives. So they go out to the world and they see somebody with purple hair, or they see somebody in a car accident, and they're just mesmerized by that, just so stimulated by that, because they're not doing anything in their life. Obviously, this is not you, the audience here listening to this, certainly, but you can see that, you can witness that out in the world if you're out in the world, and you can see how it's like humanity is changing, that we have to really take responsibility to be stimulated by healthy, amazing things, by things that we love, that we're passionate about, that we're enthusiastic, by healthy sex, by healthy relationships, by healthy activities, by healthy forms of competition, by healthy working at our craft and mastering something and doing something amazing for humanity, like really being in this place of making those things that are wholesome cool. I mean, for lack of a better way to say it, it's like this cool syndrome. It's like the dark has made itself cool and made itself alluring and magnetic, and people are drawn into that. We have to really look at like what we're drawn into. And so today is this day of like deep internal reflection, as Mars is moving up the degrees. And this week is all about retrieving your wisdom and your understanding from the past, with all of these retrograde planets in asteroids, it's about the past and what we've gone through, what we've been through. It's about what is going to bring us this other way of living that is meaningful. Like Taurus is like, what's meaningful? What's worthwhile? Like, what's the purpose here? Like, I'm not doing this unless it's meaningful. It's like Taurus doesn't want to build a house or make anything or do anything unless it's worth it, unless we're going to just go ahead and do it the best. If we're going to do quality, if we're going to make it worthwhile. And so with Uranus here, it's like innovating our old, outdated ideas about fixed earth things. So about building, housing, structures, the way we live, about how we eat, about our shelter, and the way we live in communities, the way we live in our homes, our home and family structures. All of those things are these things that are shifting. People are traveling all over the country. People are living more nomadic lives and want to see places and want to have more homes and more places and want to be more free. This Uranus is about freedom, freedom of where you live, Taurus, freedom of beauty and being able to see all of the beauty instead of just the beauty in one area, instead of just ocean beauty or just mountain beauty or forest beauty. It's like, I want to see all of it. I want to have all of it. It's freedom of where you live. It's freedom of how you're nurtured and how you have the comforts emotionally, and this more traveling, higher perspectives, more of an understanding that you really support your needs as you go, that you don't have to save and hoard. So it's like really Uranus is breaking up this old idea of the Depression era where everyone saved and canned and froze, canned goods and all of that, and where we have to save money and have stocks and bonds and pensions, and where it's like we have to save the wood and pile and stockpile it up. It's all of these kind of antiquated ideas, like save the rubber bands and put them on the door handles because we might need them, or like be resourceful. It is resourcefulness. So it's like new ways of being resourceful in the moment that you need it, as you need it, like understanding that we'll have what we need as we go. And Lilith is also retrograde. So this idea of where you have given power away from your divine feminine, like where you've given your divine feminine power away. This is like really in question up for women, because women often connect with men, connect with partners, men, women, biologically instead of from the soul. If you're having a biological connection, you feel like you can't be yourself and you're scared of how you look and you're scared to be yourself, that's a biological cave woman connection. That is not a soul connection. So that's not going to be a soulmate. That's going to be a karmic relationship, and you can just go into that karmic relationship and you can do all that bullshit and dysfunction, or you can really look to see who makes you feel calm and safe and certain, and that you can just be who you are. That's the real soulmates, whether it's friendships, partnerships, sex, whatever. And Mercury here in Virgo, we have this amazing energy and this trine to the North Node and Uranus, with like our understanding and getting to understand more about what's all shifting in the world, and being able to let that settle and be out of so much disbelief, be out of so much cognitive dissonance. So we're really like healing and understanding like what we've had cognitive dissonance about and what we've had confusion about, and really letting all of the changes in the spiritual journey settle out from the last so many years. And also just what we're understanding at deep layers that are really not necessarily conscious from our lineages of 250 years. So it's a lot of things that we're actually like settling down within our psyche soul that's happening. So this is a great day for creative action, intuitive action. This is what is called for, really understanding like to capitalize on this Aries energy to get projects going and started and done, and realize that there's a lot of things that are sifting out of everything we're trying to do. So forward momentum might have many directions to it. Forward momentum might be a lot of processing and feeling emotions to release, and really processing the past, but do it in healthy ways. We do that in Light Goddess. You can come into Alchemical Goddess for all of the beautiful ways that we do that. We really fill up your spiritual gig bag with tools that actually work and do self-coaching work. soul work, which is amazing and changes your life way of sharing, about understanding that we are a resource to each other as women, and we can share. If you have marketing skills and I don't, then what I can share with you is coaching or energy work, and you can share marketing with me. That's what Light Goddess Sisterhood is all about, as us women being a resource to each other to grow our soul missions, to grow our platforms, and to make millions of dollars as women all together. It's not about competition. It's about connecting in sisterhood, because we change the world when we do that and stop competing against each other and instead lift each other up and help each other grow. So really amazing. And we have distorted perceptions that there is this idealization. There's opposition between Mercury and Neptune, and this opposition can be very much like the idealized way that we want to see things instead of the realistic way that it actually is. And it's fun. It's a funky thing, right? It's such a thin line between mystic and madness. Such a thin line between what our hearts desire and what's just an idealistic fantasy. For example, talking about relationships, that biological desire that's really coming from just this biology place, this sex place, this cave woman place, instead of from your heart and your soul that really is like, this is really the relationship. And so it's the idealization of what it would feel like, and realizing that we're sold a lot of programs of how things should feel. Like, things should be sparks. Well, fire comes with sparks. And what if sparks looks really different? What if sparks looks calm and it sparks in a way that is magical, in a way that you've never thought possible? So the weeping wound, that we have a lot of emotions coming up from deep recesses right now, because there's been this Pluto energy in the South Node activated energy in the square to the sun. So it is this emotions are coming up, but they've been kind of hard to get at. And so we want to allow the provocations to come so that we can just go ahead and cry, go ahead and be angry and express that in a healthy way. Go ahead and do the tools in your spiritual gig bag to release those emotions. And I teach that in Alchemical Goddess. I teach that in Light Goddess. So you can book a complimentary goddess call at thegoddessastrologer.com. If you're inquiring, there are limited spaces for Alchemical Goddess, and you can release emotions so that you're not in those stories, and that when we release them, the story lets go of us, and so much is shifting. So much past life is being put into its place, a lot of stuff. So this inner life, get the stillness. Stillness is so important, especially with all this Taurus energy. Having that quiet time so you can actually know what you do think, so you can actually understand what you do want and what your vision is, that's separate from other voices and outside places and other people's opinions and belief systems and value systems that they've projected onto you or made you think were more important than your own. And do you even know your own value systems? It's really important as a woman. So we have melting mask, that Uranus has definitely helped break up people's masks, and having lightning crash, and either you go down, either you are participate in this, or you go down. And it's just this idea of like, what mask are you wearing that isn't serving you and that is keeping the good out and blocking the receiving of everything that you desire, the receiving of your visibility from an authentic soul place that's aligned to love. And that's really coming, like bringing your magic, bringing your medicine as a woman to the world. A lot of women haven't really had people curious about what's inside them, because we're taught and socialized to relate to men as the power, the authority, is the one to look to with the information or the direction or the guidance. And so a lot of women have never had someone curious about what they have to say. And so I hear a lot of women speaking like very mundane or 3D earthly plane stuff, and it's like, you have to get it out. So you have to start practicing writing, doing videos, speaking, doing creative work to get your own voice to come up and out that's unique and original and has your unique medicine in it. So realize that you just have to make a lot of shit at first sometimes that isn't very good, so that you can make the good stuff, and that nothing will be wasted. It's all for good. So I'm sending you lots of love. I'll talk to you in the next Divine Feminine Uprising Astrology Daily tomorrow.